こんにちは。私の名前はジョニーです。今日は日本のフェンダーベースについてお話したいと思います。
Hi, my name's Jonny, and today I want to talk about Japanese Fender basses. I have owned and played lots of Japanese-made guitars before, and specifically lots of Fenders, and it got me really interested in the history of Japanese-built guitars, and also left me wondering, why are they so good? And so today I thought I would bring along some really fun examples that showcase the Japanese Fender lineup and craftsmanship, and also act as a bit of a love letter to these Eastern-made instruments. Now, Fender, of course, is an American company, so why did they start making instruments in Japan? In the 50s, Fender have exploded out of the gate onto the market with the guitar scene, dominating the 50s and 60s. So by the 70s, at this point, we were getting some copycats coming out of the woodworks. Now, a lot of those copycat guitars were coming out of Japan. They were doing so with exceptional quality and attention to detail. These Japanese-made copies like Tokai and Fernandez, things like that, were starting to overtake the American-made instruments in value and overall quality as Fender start to have a little bit of trouble with their quality control. And so Fender Japan was born over the literal saying of, if you can't beat them, join them. In 1982, Fender started working with the Fujigen factory to solely create Japanese-made Fenders at a kind of mid-price point to directly compete with the market in Japan and all of these copies that were happening at the time. So although they're more affordable, why are they so good? A lot of people attribute this to the workers themselves and this whole ethos around monosukuri. I hope I'm saying that right. Monosukuri is essentially this idea that's kind of embedded into Japanese society around craftsmanship and taking pride in your work and having high quality manufacturing. The literal translation is mono meaning thing and sukuri meaning to make. This idea of thinking puts a lot of focus on the skilled person or craftsmanship that goes into making these instruments. You know, it's not just an assembly line and trying to make an order, it's trying to make a high quality product and to make it as good as they possibly can. Now you might think like, oh, okay, well, the Mexican factory is essentially trying to do the same thing, right? Well, no, not really. Their ethoses are very different because the whole thing around the Mexican-made Fenders is that they have to make them as good as they can for this cost, not just let's make them as good as we can. Fender Japan then started to kind of mostly focus on those kind of vintage reissues, and that's why the Squier JV was so good. They really spent time on absolutely nailing it to that vintage spec as close as they could. Whereas the later born made in Mexico range that's still going today is kind of more focused on cost efficiency and quantity to meet that demand. The production of Japanese-made Fenders has kind of moved hands over the years from the Fujigen factory to the Tokai one. In fact, let me get you the exact numbers now. 1982 to 1996, these were made in the Fujigen factory. From 92 to 2015, this was also made in the Dainagaki factory. And then from 94 to 96, so very briefly, the crafted in Japan Tokai-made basses were born. Now, although under that whole Fender umbrella, Fender Japan was still given some creative freedom with some of their own original models. That's why you get things like the Fender Aerodyne basses, the Contemporary series, and the Boxer series. These were kind of made to suit the more contemporary market that was popular in Japan at the time. The latter mentioned Boxer series was the result of the first bass I want to show you. What I have in my hands right here is a super rare 1985 Fender PB-555. It's just an all-black precision bass with dual-angled P pickups. Only Fender Japan could have created something so quirky yet cool and something that you just don't see or very rarely see anywhere else. They did one like this and a medium scale PJ version as well, which I've also had the pleasure of playing once before, and it was just fantastic. So when I saw this come up for sale, I absolutely had to jump on it. It's got 2 volume controls for each pickup, as well as a 3-way pickup selector, series and parallel control, and a totally passive treble boost. Now, just like that box of bass, Japan were making basses in the 80s to suit their market. And the bass I'm about to show you, I don't think there's ever been a more Japanese looking bass in the world. Because what I've got right here is the legendary Squier Katana bass. It's just so beautiful, a medium scale. Look at this headstock. They made these in Fender models and also a Squier one. The latter is what I've got here, and I picked this up on eBay very recently, made in 1985. This one only had 1 year of production. It's essentially just a precision bass, but probably the least ergonomic precision bass you'll ever play. The last bass I want to show you today is probably one of my favorites of all time, and kind of a modern classic that is more modern than people think, and one that not people know actually originated from the Japanese factory, and that is the Jaguar bass. The one that I've got here, I originally thought was a 2004 model. Now I believe it to actually be a 2005. And so this is from the first year of production. The only thing that's different about this one is the pick guard. I swapped it out from a black one to be a white one. And a lot of people get confused about these, thinking it's more like a Jaguar guitar, but it's not. This is essentially a 2-band preamp, on-off switches for each pickup, and then a series and parallel switch as well. Paired up with a master volume and master tone, these are just killer instruments with really, really comfy necks. My God, do I love the sound that these basses make, and they just feel and look incredible in my opinion. Although we see lots of Jaguars now popping up in like the Squier range, it deserves an American Fender remake, I think. And the Katana, the Boxer, I don't know if they've got some kind of deal with Fender Japan, but I would absolutely love to see these come up in like a Squier Paranormal series, or even just like a reissue that's more accessible to everyone around the world and not just Japan. But at the end of the day, they made it. They deserve to have it, because kudos to them. Every single one of these basses is fantastic in my opinion, and it is the same story for any Japanese bass that I've played. I'm yet to play a bad one. But there we go. Let me know in a comment down below what you think about Japanese made instruments, and maybe share a story that you've got or an experience you've had in the comment section down below.
改めてご覧いただきありがとうございました。また次回お会いしましょう。
Once again, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.